Hi everyone, I wanted to share this project with you. It is for a swap over on Junk Journal Junkies, and it is the fabric and lace cover swap. The idea of the swap is to focus on the cover using fabrics and laces, and I have to say this stumped me for a little bit when I first started working on it, because I don't typically work with a lot of lace, particularly on covers. I added a little bit to tags and pages and that type of thing. So this took me a little while to get going on it. But let me share it with you. I have covered the cover. So I've used 110-pound cardstock. And then I have covered it just with some very plain kind of canvas cloth. And then I've covered it with this old dresser scarf. That had this really pretty scalloped edge, and I did have to piece it just along the edge here, so I have had to add a little bit of lace to the spine. And then on the front I've layered this doily here and some lace in the background, a few pieces of a really lacy open doily there, some vintage ledger paper, a little bit of some coffee dyed really sheer cloth, this beautiful image, and then some gathered seam binding and a little bit of bling there, some lace there. And then this is avocado dyed, and it is actually a piece from an old dresser scarf that was my mother's. I have a stack of them that were my mother's, and that beautiful hand crocheted kind of edging that they put on. And so that's an old piece of one dresser scarf that was kind of coming apart, so I didn't feel badly kind of helping it along a little bit more. So that's what that is. So that's my cover. Then I've just used some seam binding to close it, and that seam binding is kind of in the very first layer of the book. So going inside, the idea was that it had to have 8 to 10 pages folded, and I guess, you know, just decorate them as normal. So that's what I've done. And on the inside I've just used some of this paper here with just a tag and a doily here as a pocket. I used more of that vintage ledger paper here, and just a couple of things here. This language of flowers I thought was really pretty. And I've used a mix of some printable pattern paper, coffee dyed paper plain, some ledger paper throughout. And as I always do, I do leave space for journaling because that's really my take on these books, is that everything shouldn't be decorated, because I really like whoever the recipient is to be able to add some of their own things and do some journaling. So here I have a little pocket with a really pretty postcard, and then this, I guess it's a hotel receipt, and this bag with a little tag in it, and some pretty fibers at the top, a little bit of lace to the edges. I've clipped on this small envelope. I got it from Angie in a bunch of things that she had sent me. I don't have anything in it. I just thought it was cute, clipped to that page, and can be used anywhere throughout the book. And then I've coffee dyed some glassine bags to add, and this was just the top of a piece of ledger paper that I used further on. So I used it here and just added a few staples. And then I've been really inspired by Allie. She has been doing some really pretty decoupage, so I really wanted to give that a try. So I've added a little bit of decoupage napkin here to this coffee dyed recipe card. Added a small doily here with some cheesecloth and a button. So that's a great journaling card. Really pretty doily here. This is Tsunami Rose, and that is as well. I thought that was really pretty added in. And some printable paper. and just a tag, and this library card that I've added this tab and a button and a little bit more decoupage, and I added this music paper pocket with one of my notes tags, and then the bottom part of one of Denise's alterations tags. Just added a little bit of lace in various spots. This is an envelope, and inside it's got a verse about roses there, which I thought fit the theme very nicely. Again, I've left lots of space here for journaling. And on the front I've got a belly band. So there's the ledger paper I was talking about that I used the top kind of title on that glassine bag further up. And then this is just some of that printable paper, and I've made it into a double tag for some more journaling. And more of that really lacy doily just as a top pull there. And the other part of the envelope, and I've done some gathered fabric here with a few more of those rhinestones. And then there's the alterations tag that I took the bottom off, and I've added a few tags and some lace to that. It's great for adding a picture and journaling on the back. Some music paper, a doily, and a little bit of trim there. This is Tsunami Rose. Isn't that beautiful? She has some really pretty papers out. And this is the center of the signature. And I have made a big pocket here. I've used again some of that vintage ledger paper that I have, added some trim. And then on the inside I've added a little booklet here. Again, I've done some decoupage here, a little bit of gathered seam binding, and just added some papers and a few little inserts with some trims and so on. A little bit of stamping here. And a little tag. And one of my favorite images there. And there we go. So that's just a little bit of extra journaling space. And a couple of tags here. That is, again, part of that really lacy open doily that I've just kind of pieced together and put on that tag. Isn't that beautiful? That's the other part of that Tsunami Rose paper. And a little top tuck spot. Again, a little bit of decoupage there. And more open space. I've added, this I believe is Tsunami Rose as well, so I've just adhered that to the paper there. And then I've got, this is a little envelope, and I've got some of that vintage ledger paper there again, and that really cute picture of that girl in her tutu. And then inside I've got just this little fussy cut label that can be added anywhere that my partner in the swap would like to add it. And this is a little top tuck spot as well. Again, those are Tsunami Rose. They're the other part of that beautiful doily. The other part of the glassine bag. And again, I've done some more decoupage there. And a little bit of trim there. My favorite, I think everybody knows if you watch my videos, this is one of my favorite images, this button card. So I've just added a few random buttons there, a little bit of trim, and then I've just got this pretty tag with some pretty trims at the top. And on the other side, a side tuck spot, and I've got a bit of trim and another tag and a key there. And I've got a Tiffany journaling spot. And then in this little glassine bag, I've got, or on it, I've got some of, again, some of that fabric and that image of the roses. And then these are Marion Smith, and they're just there for extra journaling space. Again, another of those double tags. Uh-oh. No, I don't usually do that. I'm gonna have to fix that off camera. But that's another double tag. Again, a little bit of trim there. And then on the back, I've just got this little library pocket. So that's the journal. It's 4x6, I think, if I didn't mention that. And the spine is 3/4 of an inch. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun making this. Again, it was outside of my comfort zone, but I really like the way that it's turned out, and I hope my partner likes it as well. Thanks for dropping by.